Sania Balaj was not killed on KLA premises or in the vicinity of the Radonic Canal area. Additionally, a number of witnesses testified about a KLA investigation into the murder. Considering all the evidence with regard to this murder, the Chamber found that a reasonable alternative to KLA involvement as charged in the murder was that Sania Balaj could have been targeted by people who were not acting under the direction of or in pursuit of the policies of the KLA, and that she may not have been killed while in the custody of the KLA. The Chamber received less evidence for most of the other alleged murders, where the victims' remains were found in the Radonic Canal area. In some instances, nothing was known about the circumstances in which the victim disappeared. Some remains found in the Radonic Canal area were not identified. Even those murders for which the Chamber received ample evidence could not consistently be attributed to the KLA. Consequently, the Chamber could not draw conclusions of a more general nature from the fact that victims were found in the Radonic Canal area as to who committed the killings and with which group, if any, the perpetrator was affiliated. In conclusion, the Chamber found that KLA soldiers committed acts of cruel treatment, torture, rape, and murder as charged in Count 6, Count 14, Count 20, Count 22, but only with regard to the murder of Nuria and Istrev Krasniqi and the murder of Sania Balaj, Count 28, Count 30, Count 32, and Counts 36 and 37, but only with regard to witness 61. As mentioned, the prosecution charged all three accused with these crimes as participants in a joint criminal enterprise. The objective of this alleged joint criminal enterprise was to consolidate control, total KLA control over the Dukagjin area by the unlawful removal and mistreatment of Serb civilians and by the mistreatment of Kosovar Albanian and Kosovar Roma civilians and other civilians who were or were perceived not to have been to have seen, who were or were perceived to have been collaborators with the Serbian forces or otherwise not supporting the KLA. The prosecution presented little direct evidence with regard to the alleged common criminal objective. The prosecution instead asked the Chamber to infer from circumstantial evidence, principally from evidence on crimes committed by KLA soldiers, that there existed a joint criminal enterprise. With regard to the murder of Sania Balaj, the Chamber concluded, as mentioned previously, that there existed reasonable alternatives to the prosecution's theory. Although the events in the Jablanica compound appear to indicate that the crimes committed there were carried out in a systematic way, the Chamber nevertheless found that the evidence before it was insufficient to infer the existence of the common criminal objective which one or more of the accused shared with other participants in the alleged joint criminal enterprise. In conclusion, considering both the direct and the circumstantial evidence, the Chamber was not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that the three accused participated in a joint criminal enterprise as charged. All the accused were charged in the alternative with having committed, planned, instigated, ordered, or aided and abetted many of the crimes. For only 2 of the counts, the Chamber received sufficient evidence to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt as to the individual criminal responsibility of one of the accused, Lahi Brahimaj. The Chamber will now give a summary of its findings for these counts. Under count 28, the prosecution alleged that on or about the 13th of June 1998, KLA soldiers arrested witness 6 after searching his car and finding a gun. According to the indictment, witness 6 was subsequently detained at the Jablanica compound, where he was regularly beaten by KLA soldiers, including Lahi Brahimaj. Based on the evidence presented, the Chamber is convinced that witness 6 was detained at the Jablanica compound for around 6 weeks, starting on or about the 13th of June 1998. During approximately the first 4 of these weeks, he was regularly beaten by KLA soldiers, causing serious physical suffering and injury, and resulting in lasting physical consequences. Additionally, witness 7 and witness 16 testified that a commander at the compound told them that witness 6 had been convicted or sentenced. The commander spoke angrily against President Rugova and those who did not fight. Witness 6 himself testified that when he was released, he received a written decision from Lahi Brahimaj stating that if witness 6 repeated his mistake, he would be prosecuted. On the basis of this evidence, the Chamber is convinced that KLA soldiers mistreated witness 6 to punish him. For these reasons, the Chamber concludes that witness 6 was a victim of cruel treatment and torture committed by KLA soldiers or persons affiliated with the KLA.